Let's talk about Bill Walsh, how he scouts quarterbacks versus how Kyle Shanahan scouts quarterbacks.
Okay.
So Bill Walsh, one of the things I think is so cool about him is he understood how special he was. He needed to record it for future generations. So he recorded all of his meetings. He recorded all of his installations. And in 1997, he wrote essays detailing how he scouts every position on a football team. And so now someone like me who never met Bill can go back and read it and try to figure out what to look for and what he would think of the quarterbacks on the Niners right now. So I found the essay and I wanted to sort of give you the Cliff Notes version of it because it's very interesting. So it starts and ends with two things you can't coach. I thought that was interesting. I thought it was all about what he can do or what he wants or what fits him. Two things can't coach that you got to have. Starts with instincts and intuition. Intuition. Can't coach it. Now, if you don't have instincts and intuition, you can still be good, but you never be great. And then at the end, it says, he says, you have to have something called spontaneous genius. And the idea is a great coach like Walsh can, have his whole playbook and scheme it up and everything looks good. But eventually in that game, someone's going to slip following a route. Someone's going to slip running a route. You know what I mean? There's going to be chaos on the field on a critical play, down 5 in the fourth quarter. What do? Do you throw it away and say, hey, coach, the guy fell, sorry. Or do you make a play? That's spontaneous genius. And again, that's not something you can coach. It's nothing to do with Bill. And what essentially he's saying is the great ones, it's like they're on their own at a certain point. I've never heard Kyle ever say anything like that about a quarterback. So I think that's
Can I tell
important.
you who had spontaneous genius?
Who?
Jeff Garcia.
He did.
He did. Can I tell you who doesn't have it?
Who?
Any quarterback on the 49ers right now.
Well, I think part of the thing that was exciting about Purdy last year is he showed a little bit of it at times. Purdy.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe we were just getting caught up in the moment.
Okay.
Because he was a rookie and he, saved the season. But yeah, Garcia had it. What did Ira call him? A chaos quarterback?
That's what he called him. He said he used to write that Garcia was a chaos quarterback, that when it was chaos, the play was just beginning. And, Russell Wilson used to be that way too when he was good.
Absolutely had spontaneous genius. Steve had it. Joe had it. It's very important.
Yeah.
Very important.
What other things did Bill say in the essay?
Other things that he looks for are, he says, in terms of arm strength, it's not important, but what he's looking for is he needs to see your he needs to see what throws you can make. So he can sort of make an inventory and figure out the emphasis of the offense. It's not like, do you fit my scheme?
Right.
It's just, what can you do? Okay, you don't. And he says, there have been all-time great quarterbacks that did not have the full inventory of throws. I just need to know what you can and can't do so I can tailor the emphasis of the passing game to what you do. That's it. That's all arm strength is really about for him. I thought that was interesting. Now, what's critical for him, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, we know a coach that feels that way. Another coach,
of course.
you and I.
Of course, arm strength is important. And if Bill Walsh had John Elway, he wouldn't complain about it. But if you have a quarterback who doesn't have arm strength, Bill won 4 Super Bowls with him. Or 3. So it can be done. It can be done. So arm strength isn't huge. It's just important to know so you can build your offense, as opposed to Kyle, who has one offense and is looking for someone who fits his scheme. Other thing, mobility is critical for him. Arm strength isn't, but mobility is. And he says, he compares it to immediately a boxer. He says, in the 80s, there were a lot of great boxers, but Sugar Ray Leonard was the quickest, and that's why he was a great champ. That's what he thought separated Sugar Ray Leonard from Tommy Hearns, Marvin Hagler. Quickness, not necessarily power or foot speed. So that is critical for him, and it's so not critical for Kyle, who coached Jimmy Garoppolo for 5 years.
Right. And Bill used to call slow quarterbacks moving platforms. That's what he would talk to. Lowell, I don't want a moving platform. I want a mobile quarterback.
Yeah. Last thing he mentions. Go ahead.
Ryan, the guy who used to be at Atlanta, moving platform. Would you agree?
Yes.
What's his first name?
Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan. He's a classic moving platform, right?
Yep. So it's interesting to things that Bill Walsh determines are must-haves. So arm strength isn't a must-have, but here's one. It's at the end of the essay. Quarterbacks must be able to function while injured. The pro season is about twice as long and more punishing than a college season. They are vulnerable to getting hit hard every time they pass. They must be able to avoid getting rattled, get up, and show they are in control and can continue to lead an offense. That's critical, and Jimmy never had that. And
No.
Brock hasn't shown that he has it, and Trey hasn't shown that he has it, and Darnold hasn't shown that he has it. It's critical.
And Kyle hasn't shown that he has it.
Nope.
He gets him hurt. And what's
Gets him
more, he
hurt.
doesn't look for that quality.
Right. So what Walsh is looking for is I need a guy who's mobile, who's durable, who has instincts, and who has spontaneous genius. Because if he has those things, I can build an offense around him. Okay, he has a strong arm, fine, I'll work with him. He has a weak arm, strong, fine, I'll work with him. But if he has those 4 things, I can build something. Kyle isn't looking at it like that. He's like, well, I'm a play action guy, so I need to see you under center. I need to see you turn your back to the defense. You know, I'm looking for specific things so you can run my scheme, where Bill's thinking, I can build something. I don't care. I'll build something new. It's a difference.
So it's a difference between a scheme coach, Kyle, you got to fit these 5 criteria that I have, whereas Bill says, I don't really have, in terms of play calling criteria. What do you like? What can you do? And we'll work with it. I'll change. I'm malleable. I'm flexible. Oh boy. I see that as a stark and important difference between one of the greatest coaches who ever lived and a good coach.
Right. Like so from Walsh's perspective, there's certain things I can't coach: instincts, spontaneous genius, mobility and durability and toughness. I can't coach any of those things. So you got to have those. Otherwise, you know, like the way you throw, your footwork, your mechanics, I can coach all of that stuff. I'm great at that stuff. But those were his must-haves. Kyle, he can't coach anything. And so the must-haves aren't, and he only knows one scheme. So the must-haves are all things that fit his scheme. So why didn't he draft Patrick Mahomes? Probably didn't fit his scheme, or he didn't think he did. Why didn't he draft Justin Fields? Well, he probably didn't fit his scheme, or didn't think he did. So that's the difference. That's the difference.
Right. So he can't even see great qualities and great quarterbacks because he's not looking that way.
And really, if you think about it, Kyle and his dad want to do the under center play action stuff. That's 1990s football. You see it. You don't watch college football, Dad, but you see it less and less in college football. If you ever turn on football on Saturdays, you see a quarterback in the shotgun almost 9 out of 10 times. So the pool of quarterbacks they have to draft from is shrinking every year. Fewer and fewer quarterbacks in college under center, turning their back to the defense, doing play action. You know who did it in college? Trey Lance. So why'd they draft Trey Lance? Because of his skill set or because of a scheme fit? And then you get him here and you're like, oh, actually, he can't throw that. He's not a natural thrower. We got to coach him. Can you coach him? Can you? Oh, no, I don't do that. Damn.
I don't coach quarterbacks.
I don't do that. Sorry. Okay. That's the difference between Kyle and Bill. Let's bring it into, go ahead. You like that?
What I want to say is I would call what you just did enrichment. That was enrichment. You brought something in that I didn't know about and no one else did, and we all learned from it. Kudos to you, Iggy.
You know a quarterback I don't think Bill would have wanted to coach? Brady. Can't move.
Why?
Mobility was let me read you what he wrote about mobility. Mobility and an ability to avoid a pass rush are crucial. Some quarterbacks use mobility within the pocket. Now, Brady did that. Just enough so they're able to move and pass when they feel a rush. But overall quickness and agility can make a remarkable difference. As an example, there were some very quick boxers in Sugar Ray Leonard's era, but he was quicker than they were, and because of that, he was a great champ. I feel like he was writing that for you, Dad. That was an homage to you and your conversations with him.
We talked about boxing all the time.
I love that he thought of quarterbacks in terms of boxers. I love that.
He thought of the world in terms of boxers.
That's really cool.
We used to argue so much about Muhammad Ali and Joe Louis, who would win that fight. He thought Joe Louis.
That's interesting because, if Joe Louis were a quarterback, he would be Brady, right?
Yes.
He's not moving too much.
No, he's not.
The economy of movement. Yeah.
Here's the thing with Joe.
Yeah.
He was not fast on his feet, but his hands were very fast.
Yes.
And he punched in combinations. It wasn't just a left. It was a left, right, left. Before you could even blink.
Yeah.
I don't think Ali, we're off the subject. As great as he was, I don't think Ali could ever hurt Joe Louis. He didn't hit hard enough.
Right.
It would have been a very hard fight for Ali unless he
That being
ran
said,
like
how
a
many
thief.
people ever hurt how many people ever hurt Ali, right?
Ernie Shavers did.
He did.
J-
How many people knocked him out?
Well, Larry Holmes did.